right, let's get into it because there's a lot to break down. Look, I get it. It's preseason. The starters are sitting, the scores don't matter, and in theory, it's just a glorified practice with fans in the stands. But if you watched that game and walked away without a little bit of concern, especially when it comes to depth in the offensive line, then I honestly don't know what you were watching. Because no matter how meaningless the result may seem, there are certain universal truths in football that you simply cannot ignore. You never want to go 1 for 13 on third down. You never want to cough up the ball 4 times. And you damn sure don't want to give up 30 unanswered points, even if it's with your second and third units on the field. Let's just say it how it is. This team might be 1 injury away from unraveling. And the most glaring red flag? Offensive. Tackle depth. It's screaming neon lights right now. If Trent Williams or Colton McKivitz miss any kind of serious time this season, that could be the single thread that pulls apart the entire season's plan. It's that serious. Everyone's always quick to say next man up, but when that next man looks like he should be in street clothes on Sundays, not protecting your quarterback's blind side, that's a problem. And it's not just about depth, it's about philosophy. Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, these guys have built this team in a very specific way. They believe in scheme over talent when it comes to the offensive line. It's a long-standing belief that they can scheme around weaknesses up front. And 2, be fair, sometimes they can. Against mediocre or even decent teams, maybe you get away with it. But once you run into elite defenses, playoff defenses, those guys aren't fooled by misdirection and clever blocking angles. They win at the line of scrimmage. We've seen it year after year in the playoffs. The games are won in the trenches. And when the Niners lose in the biggest games, it's almost always because they get punched in the mouth up front. Let's rewind. As to the preseason opener. There were some things to like early. The backup offense marched right down the field and scored against the Broncos defense that, don't forget, was one of the top units in the league last season. That was a good sign. Mac Jones launched a gorgeous 50-yard bomb to Jordan Watkins. That was a big-time throw, and it gave me some confidence in the quarterback 2 situation. Let's be real. Last year was a disaster. Joshua Dobbs, Brandon, Allen. It felt like if Brock went down, the season was going with him. Mac Jones might not be a star, but he's a significant upgrade over those guys. He fits the system, he gets the ball out on time, and he plays with rhythm. That deep shot to Watkins, that's what you want to see from your backup. Confidence, timing, and execution. Now Watkins is fast, real fast. We're talking legit 4.3 speed, but what stood out even more was his ability to track the ball. That's a skill that doesn't get enough attention. Anyone can run fast in a straight line, but can you find a football over your shoulder while keeping stride and adjusting in midair? Watkins showed he can do that, and if he keeps it up, he might carve out a real role on this team. But of course, it wasn't all good. After that opening drive, things fell apart fast. And once the third stringers started taking the field, it got ugly. Really ugly. That's when all the cracks in the roster started to show. That's when the turnovers started piling up. That's when the lack of depth started becoming impossible to ignore. You could feel the momentum shift, and once it did, it never came back. One of the biggest concerns? The offensive line. Again, left guard is shaky, center is below average, and right tackle is, at best, serviceable, and that's being generous. You want to keep Brock Purdy upright this year. You better hope and pray that the starters stay healthy, because the backups behind them might not be able to hold the line against a college defense, let alone NFL pass rushers. We're talking about guys like Austin Pleasance. No disrespect, but if he's seeing real snaps in the regular season, this team is in trouble. And that's why I keep coming back to the philosophy of the front office. They continue to undervalue the offensive line. It's not a priority. It's not a premium position in their eyes. They've decided to put their resources elsewhere, into playmakers, into defense, into scheme. But I just don't buy it anymore. You can't finesse your way to a Super Bowl. You can't trick good defenses. You have to beat them up front. You have to move them off the ball. And if you can't, well, we've seen how that story ends. Let's talk about the defense for a second, because there were some bright spots there. I liked what I saw from a few of the undrafted guys. Sebastian Valdez, Corey Kerr, CJ West. These dudes came to play. West and Collins were disruptive. They might not have racked up a bunch of stats, but you could feel their presence. They were pushing the pocket, forcing quarterbacks to move off their spots, messing up the timing of plays. That matters. That's real football. Disruption isn't always about sacks. Sometimes it's about forcing a runner to change direction, eating up double teams so your linebackers can make a play, or just being in the right place at the right time. And speaking of linebackers, let's talk Nick Martin. He's taking a beating online, and I think some of it's unfair. Yes, he missed tackles. Yes, he over-pursued, but he was in position. His helmet was in the frame on just about every play. That tells me he has the instincts. He's reading the play. He's flying to the football, and with time, with experience, he'll learn to throttle down and finish. I'd rather have a guy who's too aggressive than one who hesitates. You can coach aggression. You can't coach hesitation. Now the quarterback's behind Mac Jones? Yeah, we need to talk about that too. Carter Bradley and Tanner Mordecai, those guys were rough, like really rough. Bradley has arm strength but zero touch. He's a fastball-only guy, and the defense read him like a book. Mordecai? He looked like a college quarterback trying to play backyard football. Rolling out, making bad decisions, throwing straight into defenders' hands. Not what you want to see. And frankly, I'd be shocked if either of them makes the final roster. So, QB3 is still a question mark. Maybe when roster cuts hit, the Niners look around the league and bring someone in off waivers. It wouldn't surprise me at all. Shanahan has a history of getting the most out of average quarterbacks. We've seen him work magic with the likes of Nick Mullins, CJ Beathard, even Jimmy G, and now Brock. But with these two, there's just not enough there. They don't look like NFL players. What about the coaching staff? Let's give them their flowers. Kyle Shanahan, Robert Saleh, Brian Grease. That's a hell of a trio. Top to bottom, this might be one of the best coaching staffs in the league. And that showed up early in the game when the Niners backups were holding their own against the Broncos starters. That matters. It's easy to get excited about the stars, but depth is what wins games in November, December, and beyond. And coaching is what helps that depth develop. The defense looked fast, confident. Last year, they looked hesitant, like they were thinking too much. This year, they were just flying around. That's a credit to Saleh. His presence is already being felt. He's got those guys playing with energy and purpose. And I'm telling you right now, if this defense can stay healthy and build off what we saw in that first half, they're going to be a problem. Now, we'll see how Kyle handles the rest of the preseason. He's been known to give his starters some run in the second or third game. If we don't see that this time around, I'm raising an eyebrow. Because as much as you want to protect your guys, there's no substitute for game speed. You can't simulate live bullets. The offense still needs reps, chemistry, timing. There are new faces at key positions, new left guard, reshaped wide receiver room, backup running backs who need evaluation. If those guys don't get at least a quarter or a quarter and a half of real game action, it's going to be hard to get a true sense of where this team stands going into week one. And speaking of week one, it's not a soft landing. You're going into Seattle, you're facing Mike McDonald, and you better be ready. That's not the kind of game you want to walk into with rusty timing and unanswered questions on the offensive line. That's a real test right out of the gate. If the Niners can start strong and come out of the gate hot, this schedule gets a whole load easier. A 4-0 start in this stretch is like being 6-0 in a normal season. That's how tough these early games are. But if they can weather the storm, watch out. Now let's shift the lens a bit and talk about the rookie class, because this is where things get really interesting. The 49ers came into training camp with nearly 20 rookies between draft picks and undrafted free agents. That's a massive influx of youth for a team that still has Super Bowl aspirations. It tells you two things. One, they're trying to get younger and cheaper in key spots. And two, they're betting on their coaching staff to turn raw talent into productive depth. And so far, I'd say it's a mixed bag. Some promising flashes, some guys who clearly need more time, and a few who might just surprise everyone. But before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to 49ers Zone and hit the like button on this video. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the San Francisco 49ers. And don't forget to share your thoughts on the news in the comments below. The atmosphere around the San Francisco 49ers training facility has been thick with speculation this week, as murmurs about Brandon Aiyuk's future with the team grow louder by the day. Multiple sources close to the organization speaking. on the condition of anonymity, have hinted that the star wide receiver is becoming increasingly frustrated with what he perceives as a lack of appreciation for his contributions. Aiyuk, who has been instrumental in the 49ers' offensive success over the past 2 seasons, reportedly voiced his discontent in a closed-door meeting, and a leaked snippet of his alleged comments, "They don't value me here," has set off a storm among fans and analysts alike. While no official trade request has been confirmed, the mere possibility that one of the team's most dynamic playmakers could be on his way out has sent shockwaves through the NFL community. Some insiders claim that tensions have been brewing since contract discussions earlier this offseason, when Aiyuk's representatives allegedly sought an extension that would place him among the league's highest paid receivers. The 49ers front office, known for its careful cap management, has so far been reluctant to meet those demands, fueling speculation that a split might be inevitable if common ground is not reached soon. Behind the scenes, whispers suggest that the situation has reached a point where other teams are beginning to circle, ready to pounce if Aiyuk truly becomes available. Several unnamed franchises in need of a top-tier receiving threat are reportedly monitoring developments closely, with some executives already making quiet inquiries about potential trade scenarios. The intrigue lies not only in Aiyuk's talent, his route-running precision, yards-after-catch ability, and knack for making clutch plays, but also in the possibility of acquiring him while he is still in his prime. For a receiver of his caliber, the asking price would be steep, likely involving multiple high draft picks or a combination of picks and proven starters. Yet in a league where game-breaking talent is scarce, such a price might not deter suitors. The uncertainty has created a charged environment in the 49ers locker room, where teammates are said to be both supportive of Aiyuk and wary of the potential ripple effects his departure could cause. With the preseason fast approaching, the situation is reaching a critical juncture, and every small interaction or cryptic social media post from the player is being dissected for clues about his intentions. Those close to Aiyuk describe him as fiercely competitive and deeply committed to winning, traits that have made him a fan favorite and a respected figure in the locker room. However, they also note that he's unwilling to settle for what he perceives as being undervalued, both financially and in terms of his role in the offensive scheme. While the 49ers have publicly praised his work ethic and production, there is a growing belief that behind closed doors, the coaching staff and front office might see him as more replaceable than fans assume. This perception, fair or not, seems to be at the heart of the current standoff. Former players and analysts have chimed in, drawing comparisons to other star receivers who parted ways with their teams over similar disputes, sometimes to the long-term detriment of the franchise. The emotional undercurrent is palpable as supporters of a team grapple with the idea that a talent like Aiyuk could walk away over a breakdown in negotiations. And while some remain optimistic that cooler heads will prevail, the reality of the modern NFL, where business decisions often trump sentiment, looms large over every conversation about his future. Adding fuel to the fire are the cryptic messages Aiyuk has been posting on social media, which many interpret as thinly veiled references to his dissatisfaction. Posts featuring clock emojis, phrases about knowing your worth, and even subtle nods to other teams' color schemes have sparked endless online debate among fans. Whether these posts are deliberate provocations or simply harmless expressions is unclear. But in the current climate, every word is scrutinized. Insiders say that while Aiyuk has not publicly demanded a trade, his camp is quietly exploring all options, which could include testing the market if the 49ers remain firm in their stance. From the organization's perspective, moving on from a player of his stature would not only mean losing a key offensive weapon, but also risk alienating a portion of the fan base that sees him as a cornerstone for the team's future. Balancing cap space, roster depth, and star power is a delicate art in the NFL, and the 49ers may soon be forced to make a decision that will define their trajectory for years to come. For now, the uncertainty hangs like a fog over the team's preparations, leaving players and fans alike guessing what the next chapter will bring. Meanwhile, rival teams smell opportunity. Speculation has already linked Aiyuk to several franchises on the rise, including some with promising young quarterbacks in desperate need of a reliable target. The idea of pairing his elite skill set with a top-tier passer has scouts salivating, and for general managers willing to pay the price, this could be a rare chance to land a proven star without the uncertainty of the draft. In this context, Aiyuk's situation becomes not just a forward-man guild who 49ers storyline, but a league-wide point of intrigue. Every passing day without resolution increases the likelihood of a blockbuster move. And in the high-stakes world of professional football, timing is everything. Aiyuk's potential departure would send ripples through the NFC landscape, potentially altering playoff projections and forcing defenses to recalibrate their strategies. For now, the official word from the 49ers remains that he is a valued member of the team. But such phrases have become standard fare in situations that end with a farewell. As training camp rolls on, all eyes remain on number 11, the man at the center of a storm that could reshape not just one roster, but perhaps the entire balance of power in the league. That's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the San Francisco 49ers, make sure to subscribe to 49ers Zone and give this video a like. We always look forward to hearing your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.